Lies at the beginning of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Just
shit,
like,
no,
it's really rough.
what?
it should be good. This is a rough drawing.
Dude, I love it.
The programs suck, but
I
this is
love it.
the city map, and there's
Fucking adorable.
a little legend on the right if you need it.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, Timmy, you want to pin this on the refrigerator later?
Well, because I
Yeah.
didn't, instead of doing a second draft, which is what I usually do, I just used the rough draft.
I'm totally gonna print this out and put it on the fridge.
Please do. I'll have a better one later. I just
I'll
didn't.
I'll grade it, give it like an 85. Like, it's a good effort.
Map making programs suck, man. I hate them.
There's a whole subreddit like
You just
about
gotta get-
this,
yeah.
making maps
I
and
mean,
stuff,
yeah, there's like a whole
handmade maps.
skill, I guess, that you gotta pick up.
Now we're not all here, but
Where's that? Where's the sailor's bounty? Is that
In
by
the
the
middle?
dock?
it's
Is that
right
like
in the
that?
it's right in the center.
Oh, it's not the separated one?
Nope, it's the
Or-
ship in the center.
Which center?
In the center of the map.
Oh, whoa, shit. The way center.
Oh yeah,
I
that
gotcha.
yeah, the literal center of the
I
map.
was looking at the pier. I was like, where the fuck? Center? What are you talking about? There's like 5 shit. I gotcha.
It's like the public docks on the right and like the Hammett docks on the left.
Is that like a...
Where's the ship
Fence
that
or
we got
something?
for that Sonny got for his reward?
What?
Where's the ship that Sonny got for his
That's
reward?
the Sailor's Bounty, right in the middle.
No, he got a ship, like an actual
No,
ship.
well,
Yeah, bitch.
Relton said he was
Where my
working on it.
ship at? Yeah, you know, it's been like 2 months.
No, here we go. See,
3 months,
It's
actually.
been too much.
this is a great segue to get started. So,
Wait. So,
all right, I'm gonna brief. So, when last we left our heroes, so Memnon, Gordrak, Alston, and Mav got another gem. They got the Serpent Gem from a temple in the desert. And when they returned, they all were going to go back to their rooms at the inn, but they only rented one night. And so I asked Spartacus, would Memnon think to go back and rent a room again, or would he just go to his room? He went back to his room without asking. And so it was occupied by a noble son of a very powerful noble family. And he said my father would hear about this, and he like stormed off whenever Memnon barged into the room. And the noble son was sleeping with a male dwarf and like this like really tall elven woman. He was a really tall elven woman. And the nobleman's son, he like ran off, said my father would hear about this, and left. And then that night they set up watch. Gordrak took first shift, and Alston took second shift. And during the second shift, a guy showed up, and he gave him a lead ball. And they didn't know what it was at first, and kind of messing around with it. And eventually they got it open, and some blood red tinted sand fell out. And they're like, oh, what the fuck is this? And so they went that morning to Elaine, their friend, who owns the tavern, and asked her what it was. And she was like, oh, it's kind of like a mark that House Ashton uses for target. It's more of a threat, like leave before we kill you. And our strong-headed adventurers, instead of leaving, went to House Ashton. They went to the actual estate. They went to the estate, and they knocked on the door, and they were going to blackmail Stefan Ashton, the head of that house, about what they found Raoul doing as like a counterplay to him, kill him or whatever. They didn't blackmail him. Instead, they killed Stefan. They killed his head of staff. They killed like 20 guards using his own trap. Stefan had a room. It's like a waiting room before his office, where the floor is like a trap door. It's like the floor drops in. And so Alston snuck through the door into the office whenever the assistant told them to wait. He's like, wait, I'm going to go get Stefan. And then Alston overheard them talking about dropping them through the floor. So Alston incapacitated the guy, and everyone else rushed in. And as the guards showed up, they pulled the lever and killed everybody. And they killed Stefan and threw his body in the pit as well. There were 2 guards that were left alive. One of them, Memnon, obliterated his head, scared the other one into working for the group. And he did, and he escorted them up to the door, and as soon as they got to the door to leave, they heard a knocking on the other side of the door. And they opened the door. Desmond Relton, who was the head of another noble house in the city, House Relton, was on the other side. And he asked them what happened. And they told him the truth. They told him that they were there to blackmail him, and they ended up just killing everybody. And so, taking advantage of the situation, he sent his knights in to storm the house and told them to capture Raoul Ashton, the boy who, or not the boy, he was a man, but the guy who was sleeping with the dwarf and the elf in the inn that they were going to blackmail, to capture Raoul Ashton if they found him. And as payment, Alston requested deed to the Sailor's Bounty, which was the ship tavern that's been their home base for their time in Seastone. And he gave it to him, no strings attached. He handed him the deed. Alston took it to Elaine, and now they own the establishment. And before, under House Ashton, who managed all the real estate in the city, they owned everything, and everyone paid House Ashton rent. And so now they had their own. They like own it, and Desmond is still taking the rent from the other people. That is normal, because he acquired the assets of House Ashton whenever they went down. It's kind of like a mutual benefit thing. And they also requested a sailing vessel for reward, and Desmond Relton said that he would do his best, but that's to do with House Hammett, and House Hammett's definitely not going to like House Relton now that they know that he was involved, because she's not stupid. Alvina Hammett, who's the head of that house. So, he's working on it. He's working on the ship. In the meantime, Epicé, Rancho, and Chamois, on the other side of the Wild Sea, they went to Davenport, and they got another gem as well from the turtle hideout. And so they got the gem of the turtle. And after that, they had a run-in with an interesting scenario inside the town. Weird dude collecting bodies. Shit went down. And then just after that, kind of the retcon part, Alston sent a letter to his allies asking for everyone to group within Seastone for this coming storm, because the city had one of its 3 noble houses just fall, and it's kind of clear that one of them was sort of involved. And the Lord Regent, who's like the actual official ruler of the city, doesn't really do anything. He hasn't like done anything about it. It's just kind of been a few weeks of stagnation, nothing, up until this morning, the morning that we're going to start on, where the group of everyone who's present, at least. So that means we've got Rancho, Maff, Chamois, Alston, and Epicé. We're just at the execution. They watched the hanging of Raoul Ashton. It was a short trial, not a whole lot. The 2 people to testify against him were Desmond Relton and Redmond, who was the guard that escorted the party out of the Relton estate. He testified against Raoul, saying it was him, and he's the only one who would have known about the trapdoor. So, and he was convicted, he was hung, and they buried him, put his body in like a crate, it's like a coffin, and they shipped him. And so now, we're on our way back. We're going to get started. Here we go.
Really?
Any questions? Anybody knock it up? Anyone need to know anything? Shit went down, we're all good?
Yeah, we're good.
Alright. So.
Can you repeat the beginning, middle, and end part?
Sorry, I didn't know you missed that part.
For her.
So if you're looking at the city map right now, this is where the hanging took place. It's a little blip. And we are about here, passing through the merchant quarter back to the Sailor's Bounty, which is right now. Alright, so the group leaving, some not present, going off doing whatever they're doing. You join. Oh. And Rain's here. Hello. So, making our way back to the merchant quarter and kind of coming up onto the Sailor's Bounty, though you notice there aren't any customers on the deck of the ship, but there are men in armor. They're not standing guard or anything. They're just sitting at the table, but everyone there is armored. They're wearing silver armor and like white tabard. There's probably like 5 or 6. And so where you are, it's just like a straight shot road up to the Sailor's Bounty. Like the end of this road is the gangplank that goes up onto the ship. And you can see that the all these armored men are there.
Can we talk about what happened to my hand in that picture?
Listen, I'll fix it later.
Am I a tree?
You were the first. You were the first one I did, and so I got better at the transparent brush as I went on. So I'm gonna have to go back.
Thanks.
Anyway,
Glad to be sorry.
it's okay. It'll look better. I promise. I'll fix it. All right. Do anything crazy? We approaching? Anybody got any comments to make?
So I mean, okay, so we own this place. Which house are they from?
I own it.
From what you can tell, they are Relton. Ashton doesn't exist anymore. There
Yeah.
aren't any more Ashton people. And House Hammett, they don't wear white, they wear green. So they're wearing like this silver armor with white tabards. You can't really see the symbol on them, but they're Relton. They're not City Guard either.
Austin, you should figure out what they want. They're not your tavern.
Have you noticed, man? Why don't you say something? Okay, fine, dude. I go up to the dudes.
Your tavern.
I was also kind of caught up in the hand thing. I didn't really hear what the guard said.
They didn't say anything. You're still like,
we were
like
wondering.
you're like, yeah, you're like on your way down like the road. At the end of the road is the gangplank up to the ship, and you can see that there are armored men on top of the ship.
How many?
Also, is everyone here with us?
4. 2 of them are sitting at a table, and then the like on one side towards the door to the bar, like where you would enter, where you guys normally go, and then there's one sitting on a table on the other side with one standing up against a wall. But they're both talking, having independent conversations.
All right, so I play coy, dude. I just walk up. I'm like, yo, what up, gentlemen?
And everybody going with them.
Yeah, we'll follow him.
The 2 next to the bar, kind of finish their part of the conversation they're having, and they look over to you, and they kind of do like a, and they point to the door to the bar. Like, he wants to see you inside.
To my own bar?
If they
Yep.
want to talk in private,
They just nod. He wants to see you inside.
By all means, friend. Let's do this dance.
The guy closest to the door actually gets up and opens the door to the bar for you.
You're a
And-
big fucker, aren't you?
He pushes one and opens the other one. So the doors open up to the inside.
Let's
And-
go inside.
Alright, so you enter.
This picture of Misty
we're-
old
we're
friend.
home.
oh, jeez, we're home. The nostalgia.
You walk into the bar, and for those who've never been here before, on the left, there's the actual bar. Exactly how it looks there. And on the right, there's some tables. It's like 3 or 4 of them just kind of like pushed up against walls and one out in the middle. All the tables are occupied by Relton, like, I don't want to call them soldiers, knights. The Relton knights. And now you can clearly see the tabard. They got the white tabard with the little blue eagle on it. And there's one at the bar on the far end. And Elaine is at the bar right now. And she was also at the execution, but whenever you were leaving, she didn't leave with you. She was gone by the time you like looked to see where she was. And so right now she's at the bar, leaning over on top of it with a mug in her hand, and her face is all flushed. And she's like looking kind of down at the bar. Seems a little out of it. But directly in front of you is a man who most of you are familiar with, some of you are not. It is your boy.
Aw, big man Desmond.
Jasmine Relton.
It's Relton.
Holy fuck, who's that?
Yeah, no,
Oh my god, that's the lady?
That's Elaine, yep.
That's Elaine.
Wow.
She's at her bar and she's all flushed,
Les.
clearly drunk.
With her like
And-
loot.
And Relton is standing, except that picture doesn't have a tabard, but he's got his tabard. And he's standing with his hands on his hips. He gets this really big grin whenever you walk in, and he holds his arms out. Double check.
So I go to him.
He goes, friends and allies, talking to those who were not present the first time. Greetings.
Sir Relton, it's good to see you again.
Likewise.
What is The occasion, I guess.
Nah, dude. I